Shalum, Shalum, and welcome. Welcome to the White Rose Family channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening, set-apart nation. My brothers and sisters, end times are no doubt upon us, or we have arrived at end times. Uncertainty is growing. People are fearful, and many trying to mask their anxieties, while others are scrambling trying to find out what is it that they're supposed to do. What is their purpose? What is the Almighty Father calling them to do? These and many questions circulate across this world among believers that are set apart, drawn by the Almighty Father Yahuah to Yahusha Mashiach, as well as those who are not. But before I begin to discuss the message, this 10th part to building unity, I want to say this: the views expressed do not necessarily reflect the owners, managers, and/or shareholders or their sponsors. With that said, let's get started. Building Unity, Part 10, Development and Pruning. My brothers and sisters, believe it or not, during development, there is pruning. There's a shedding, there's a cutting off of things that are not necessary, or things that can slow or impede our growth, our maturity. This holds true with plants, and it holds true with us. My brothers and sisters, my concern is this. So many are talking about pursuing set apart or doing the will of the Almighty Father, that in anxiousness and impatience, we fail to take the steps necessary to assure ourselves that we are growing in maturity according to the way the Almighty Father would have us to grow. Our impatience causes us to misinterpret our communications, misinterpret what we mean when talking to one another. A lot of times we're not even talking on the same page, or apples to apples, oranges to oranges, so to speak. It is important to know that the plan that the Almighty Father have laid out will be successful. The question is, are we pursuing to discern his voice? Are we pursuing to respond to him in obedience? Have we grown, or are we growing to discern his voice as it comes to our spirit, or as he works through another to deliver what we must hear and obey? Make no mistake, Yashar'al, during these end times, the Almighty Father will execute the discipline that we have grown, or will grow to understand, that is mentioned in Hebrews 12th chapter, and in Proverbs, and in Revelations 3:19. He will discipline us, O Yashar'al, to fulfill his promises. One major promise, that's the final Exodus. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al. Are we asking the questions what it takes to bring unity? Do we see the actions in the work moving towards unity? Or do we see an abundance of excuses? Black people don't work together. Hebrews can't come together. I don't see us coming together in unity because we're busy fighting one another. We fail to discern when iron is sharpening iron. We fail to discern when a set-apart one is obedient to Yahuah, delivering a message of discipline. We fail to distinguish the difference, know the difference between that and unfruitful fighting and bickering. You see, Yashar'al, the enemy desires for us to be confused, and he presents things that are opposite of what the Almighty Father is doing. But unless our intent is to worship and obey him, the Almighty Father Yahuah, versus the enemy, we'll struggle with discerning when iron is sharpening iron versus someone just fighting and battling and bringing in confusion. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, it's time for us to study the scriptures. Seek to discern the life in them as the Spirit of Yahuah bring forth his word in the name of Yahusha in spirit, as written in John 14:26. So many of us have failed to realize the importance of the name Yahusha. Yahusha is the word of Yahuah. He was manifest before us in the flesh, and the Spirit of Yahuah communicating with us is in the name of Yahusha. So many of us fail to realize that in John 12:32, where Yahusha is quoted as saying, if he be lifted up, it is he that will draw all men to himself. If we seek to look and discern what the voice of Yahuah that comes to us in the name of Yahusha is saying, discern and respond wisely, then we can begin to see unity forge before our very eyes. Yashar'al, Yashar'al, I so hunger and thirst to meet other brothers and sisters who seek out the desires of the Almighty Father, who knows what questions to ask, who knows how to examine and vet all things. You see, I'm not oblivious that there are probably mores, teachers, community heads, pastors, that probably believe the words I speak are not of the Almighty Father Yahuah. Now, will I stumble and fall occasionally? Sure I will. But what I'm searching and hungering for is those who ask questions. If I'm saying something that they disagree with, if I'm saying something that they don't believe, ask me, where did you get that? What scriptures did you get that from? Who's guiding you? Who's motivating you? You see, we don't have the patience because many of us are so confident in what we believe we've learned, but are confidently wrong. Pruning is coming, O Yashar'al, and it will not be a pleasant sight to those who are trying to preserve their ego, their status quo, but to he or to whom is hungry and thirsty, pruning would be a welcome phenomenon. Come with me, Yashar'al. And I want to say this, as I record this, I am also recording it in MP3 format to put on my podcast, End Time Reflections. So I'm recording it in MP3 format in case you want to download it to listen to it from your phone and not take up as much memory. With that said, let me continue. Come with me. Let's visit Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he turns not away from it. If you are a father or a mother or a guardian or grandparent, if you are charged with raising a child, do you not make tough decisions that the child don't understand and probably won't understand till later on? There are things that you can reflect on that a mother or father or guardian told you that was best for you that you didn't realize how important it was until you got older. Development, my brothers and sisters. Development is when one realizes the things that are necessary to adapt to and to pass on to others. You see, you can go to a class and learn where this scripture is or that scripture is. You can go to a class and hear a person talk all day or all night or for hours or minutes or moments. But did you leave with understanding? Did you leave with belief that you can present that same teaching, that same information, that you can transfer it to someone else correctly? Did you test what you heard by fellowshipping with others and letting them know what you got out of the message? And if there was disagreement, did you pursue oneness? You see, train up a child, it didn't say just a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, or 5-year-old. It said a child. It did not put the specific age. My brothers and sisters, development and pruning. In that process of developing a child, we will tell the child things that are not good, things that they need to come away, step away from. And that holds true to us, O Yashar'al, as we grow, as we mature. We will find that the Almighty Father will do some pruning, whether it be us changing habits and behaviors, moving into correction, or coming away from someone that is not a brother or sister, or someone that is not pursuing true worship and obedience. I want to also read 1 Corinthians 13:9 through 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9 through 13 says, "For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be inactive." Some people think that's not until the Mashiach, Yahusha, comes. When it say to that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be inactive. That's meaning when the Spirit of Yahushua rise up in us, one towards another. When we recognize that it is indeed the Spirit of the Almighty Father in Yahushua's name, when we recognize that the thing that's in part becomes inactive, the thing that is a hindrance that didn't know any better steps back, so that actions that move us to wholeness and unity can have its course, run its course. 13:11 say, "When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, I reasoned as a child. But when I became a man, I did away with childish matters." My brothers and sisters, Shalum goes on to say, "For now we see in the mirror dimly, but then face to face, now I know in part. But then I shall know as I also have been known. And now belief, expectation, and love remain. These three, but the greatest of these is love." Can you identify someone that truly loves you? Whether it be a husband and wife relationship, whether it be a potential husband and potential wife, whether it be a father, son, child, mother, son, child, whether it be a relationship that you believe that person would lay down their life for you. Can you say you know someone that has that love for you? And if so, ask them, where are they getting the love? Where are they learning the love that they have to love you? You see, we don't want to examine and vet one another. We jump into camps and fellowships and communities without examining and vetting and seeking to discern, is the Spirit of Yahuah, sent in Yahushua's name, working in that individual? If we can identify the attributes of the Almighty Father, then just maybe we can identify those who truly love us. Just maybe we may not be burned in relationships. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, the development process requires work. Work, O Yashar'al. Development measures the effectiveness of training. So if somebody say, "I like to train," or "I'm a trainer," ask them to identify those whom they've trained so that you may interview and speak to those individuals, if possible. You see, someone might be saying, "I'm developing someone," but unless that person have received something that you've imparted on them or developed them in your training, unless they received it and they can do the same thing, did you really develop that person? Did you share with them how to have the strength to come away from the things that are not right or the things that are not of set apartness? Did you really develop that person? Did you teach them how to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua? Did you? Are you doing that? Building unity. Many of us don't ask what it takes to bring unity. I want to tell you, O Yashar'al, extreme humbling times are coming. We will lose some community heads. We will lose some pastors. We will lose some deacons, some bishops, some mores, some teachers, some influential individuals. In the coming days, as the discipline of the Almighty Father comes, there will be those who would rather try to preserve their own ego and status quo than to yield to discipline and correction. But there will be some who will repent and be reproved and rise up stronger than ever. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, we must ask, what does it take for unity? And we must look at the details, the processes that will come about to bring unity like never before. To witness the final exodus, to witness the 144,000 and great multitude come together. Yashar'al, we must examine training components, consider their origins. Where did you get that teaching from? How did you come about a position of being convinced? Is it because you think so many people are doing it? Just like a day, when a day begins. A day begins at the crack of dawn, as daylight begins, and the cycle of a day goes to the next morning. So from morning to morning, it's actually a full day. And many people will disagree and argue and kick against the pricks. Many do that, some not even knowing. Do you stretch out your arms as it starts to get dark, saying, I'm ready for work? Do you honestly believe the Almighty Father created us to function and be most productive during daylight hours, but they don't start until it starts to get dark? You see, the wicked one, the synagogue of Satan, flipped the script, conditioned us, programmed us. And soon and very soon, as we find ourselves in the throngs of development, as we witness the pruning, we will come to realize that training components require us to discern and see if what we are receiving from the Almighty Father, that our minds can accept it, yield to it, and better equip us and prepare us for coming closer together. The origins of any training. If someone says, this is what I believe, ask them, where did they get it from? How much have they studied? How much do they believe? Are they willing to put their life on the line for it? Yashar'al, come with me, my brothers and sisters. You see, in development, there's judgment. Do I touch this or walk away from it? Do I walk towards and embrace this, or do I flee? Do I purge this from among those who are with me? You see, judgment is a component of pruning, because you must decide. We must decide. And when that decision is made, we must render the actions, execute the actions that are necessary to be obedient to the Almighty Father. Come with me, O Yashar'al, as I read Matthew chapter 3, verse 10. Matthew chapter 3, verse 10. It reads, and the axe is already laid to the root of the trees. Every tree then which does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. What does that mean, O Yashar'al? Have we seen enough of that occurring? Are we seeing more communities, camps, more so concerned with enlarging their numbers that they let anybody in, that they tolerating compromising behaviors and actions? Do we see them pruning? Do we see them purging? Is it done according to the scriptures as they are made alive before us? Are our leaders clearing the way so that we may grow in maturity? How long has it been since you asked yourself, what am I learning in this community? this fellowship, this camp, this group? Am I growing strong? Am I growing stronger? Am I confident that I know what is expected of me? Can I clearly say that I am a part of a tree that bears good fruit? Or do I have an appointment with the axe? Matthew chapter 12, verse 33 through 37. Come with me. Come with me, my brother, my sister, as I read Matthew chapter 12, 33 through 37. It says, either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree rotten and its fruit rotten. For a tree is known by its fruit. Brood of adders, some translations will say snakes. How are you able to speak what is good, being wicked? For the mouth speaks from the overflow of the heart. The good man brings forth what is good from the good treasures of his heart, and the wicked man brings forth what is wicked from the wicked treasure. And I say to you that for every idle word men speak, they shall give an account of it in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be declared righteous, and by your words you shall be declared unrighteous. Now you might say, well, what did that say again? By your words you shall be declared righteous, and by your words you shall be declared unrighteous. You see, out of our mouths, by the actions, by the fruit we bear, judgment will come. And sometimes we will stumble. Remember, the flesh war against the spirit, my brothers and sisters. But we must learn how to quickly get under the blood of the Lamb, repent, rise up, be renewed by his spirit, and press forward into his bosom. Beware of those inexperienced in development and pruning. They don't know when to cut things off, and they don't know how to listen to those that they are training to see if those that they are training are receiving the instructions and the training that they are imparting to confirm that development have taken place. Here's what I'm saying, my brothers and sisters. If you listen to a teacher, a pastor, a moray, a community head, a brother or sister that's teaching you and wants to develop you, if you don't understand what they're saying, if you don't get it wholly, then they truly have missed the mark in developing you, as well as you developing someone else. If the skill sets are not transferred to the point of understanding or to the point of one having the ability to do a certain skill, then development did not take place. It's time, O Yashar'al, to begin to discern those who are providing the milk and the meat for strengthening you, the one in the mirror. Come with me to Hebrews chapter 5. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12 through 14. For it reads, Hebrews 5, 12 through 14. For indeed, although by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the first elements of the words of the Almighty One. And you have become such as need milk and not solid food. For everyone partaking of milk is inexperienced in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food is for the mature, whose senses have been trained by practice to discern both good and evil. How many people witnessed during Passover, which I believe symbolize instructions to life, and Feast of Unleavened Bread, which emphasize the need to grow and being able to discern between good and evil? You see, leavening is an influencing agent. There's good leaven, there's bad leaven. By this feast saying Feast of Unleavened Bread, it's talking about remove the influence. Remove the influence. It is a time to focus on the Almighty Father Yahuah. Directly, he speaks to our spirit in Yahusha's name. And he speaks to us one towards another. During such time, did anyone read Hebrews 5-14 or the 5th chapter? Did anyone talk about having our senses trained by practice to discern good and evil? You see, my brothers and sisters, we are absent from recognizing the difference between milk and meat. And it's time, soon we will discover that it's time to focus on discerning what the Spirit of Yahuah is saying to us, through us, one towards another. How he makes his alive the scriptures so that we can fully understand. It would be wise to learn how to manage our emotions during development and pruning during this process. Too many are fighting. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm talking about? You can't judge me. We don't ask enough questions. How did you come to that conclusion? We don't seek out to vet one another strongly enough to see, is that the Spirit of Yahuah inside of you speaking to me? Have we done that? Do we have the patience? Have we grown to identify meat? You see, with milk, you can sip it down. Goes down fluidly. But with meat, it requires chewing, breaking it up, preparing it for digestion, recognizing what is required for it to have its beneficial properties transferred to our bodies. Yashar'al, Yashar'al. Yes, there are times when the Spirit will point to something that is wicked. It's not about I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I listen to you, so you have to listen to me. No, my brothers and sisters. It's about discerning, are we functioning as the Spirit of Yahuah works in us one towards another? My brothers and sisters, we must learn how to avoid embracing unwise positions and know when to come away from compromises. You see, that's why we have these cliques within these large groups. They're little cliques, and they say, well, I don't really agree with the pastor's saying. But it's no, you ain't gonna find a set apart community. Or I don't understand and agree with what the bishop is saying. And I think I've searched the scriptures and everything. I know that's wrong, but they have good uniforms. They are large in numbers. There's nobody else better than them. Or I can't find anything better. Yashar'al, the field of excuses will prove to be unwise. My brothers and sisters, it's important for us to discern that the Spirit of Yahuah stirs within us. Many of us don't realize there are occasions when we'll say, I should have followed my first mind. Something told me. And in some instances, that's the Spirit of Yahushua speaking. But the only way to know the difference is, does it line up with scriptures in whole? Does it bring about life-building properties and attributes? My brothers and sisters, come with me. I want you to consider the life in Isaiah 55:7-11. For Yahuwah's ways are not our ways, but we must discern his ways. And when we discern his ways and embrace his ways, then our ways be as Yahuwah. For we will be walking in, for when we walking in obedience, we will be as him. In terms of demonstrating set apartness, and I'm saying as him, as he works in us, through us, one towards another. So don't take my words out of context. In other words, if he is flowing through us, we must see the set-apart spirit. Many prefer to say Ruach HaKodesh, which means set-apart spirit, not realizing that is the Spirit of Yahuah. Many would rather say the Spirit of Yahuah and not say the Spirit of Yahusha. having communication with Yahuah, but yet ignoring his means for communicating to us is through his word. His word is Yahusha. When we say Yahusha, we recognize that the plan of Yahuah outlines how he communicates to us and works in us. We learn what John 14:26 means. We learn what John 6:44 means. We learn the importance of John 12:32. In Isaiah 55:7-11, let me continue. Let the wrong forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to Yahuah, who has compassion on him, and to our Almighty One, for he pardons much. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares Yahuah. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain comes down and the snow from heavens, and do not return there, but water the earth, and make it bring forth and bud, and give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so is my word that goes forth from my mouth. It does not return to me empty, but shall do what I please, and shall certainly accomplish what I sent it for. My brothers and sisters, the word of Yahuah will not go void. We will learn. We don't have to convince anyone, but let's speak as the Almighty Father guides us. Let's speak in the name of Yahusha as we believe he is directing us. And let's press on. And we will witness the set-apart Spirit of Yahuah spread with a strength, magnified among those who will be gathered from the four corners of the earth, and more. And you might say, well, what do you mean, and more? Because everybody will not be gathered before the physical return of Yahusha. Sure, ultimately, the dead will rise, and there will be a judgment day, and those that are alive will be transformed. But I'm saying the final Exodus, I believe, will occur before the physical return of Yahushua HaMashiach. I heard an elder of a large assembly say that we don't believe there's going to be someone that's going to lead us back to the promised land. We're not sitting around believing that's going to happen. This appears to be what he said, and I listened to him again. You see, for some reason, O Yashar'al, there is not a widespread search to vet those that are visible before us to see who fulfills attributes, signs that the Almighty Father's Spirit is working in them, through them, to gather the children of Yashar'al. There are elders and leaders who would rather just not even think about that. They don't even think it's going to be a movement. But movement have begun. It does not have reached your doorstep for some. But for millions, forced movement have begun. Yashar'al will be identified and gathered. The world will yield to the children of Yahuah coming together and returning to the land that was given them. And I say to you, O Yashar'al, I've said before, I believe it will be mostly children, but there will be adults, there will be counselors, there will be elders, there will be leadership among those gathered to fulfill the final Exodus. Leadership among the 144,000 in great multitude. Scriptures will be fulfilled, O Yashar'al. Let us also remember Philippians 1:8-11 as I gradually come to a close on this matter. Philippians 1:8-11 says, "For the Almighty One is my witness, how I long for you all with the affection of Yahushua Messiah. And this I pray, that your love might extend more and more in knowledge and all discernment." Let me pause for a minute. Discernment is when true discernment is when the Spirit of Yahusha reveals, make known, uncovers. He goes on to say, for you to examine the matters that differ in order to be sincere and not stumbling until the day of Messiah, being filled with the fruit of righteousness through Yahushua Messiah to the esteem and praise of the Almighty One. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. See, we yet have begun to realize the fullness of His Spirit working in us, through us, one towards another. Unity will come, leadership will come, and there will be guides among us, O Yashar'al. In the coming days ahead, things will get more intense. My brother, my sister, take heed. The Almighty Father will not fail in His promises. Trust and believe. Seek to discern. Know that development is coming. The question to ask yourself if you're a leader, have you developed those who follow you? Have you purged out the wicked or taught them how to purge the wicked in the event of your demise, in the event of your death, in the event that you are in a coma or become disabled? Have you imparted the skill sets, the training, the development to your flock such that those among you can pick up the baton of leadership and press on into growing in maturity? If not, you have failed. We have failed if we haven't done that. Having somebody mimic or just echo the words that we say, that's not development. Development is embracing set apartness, bearing fruit. Development as a result of set apart training produces actions that are passed on from one generation to the next, from one person to the next, so that we lack nothing. Our path is set by the Almighty Father. There will be development and pruning. Know how to recognize the difference. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. Let us be wise by recognizing that being fruitful means to produce ongoing, set-apart fruit. Let us also recognize that development and training is something that is of grave importance. Stay tuned, O Yashar'al, for development and pruning latches on to being fruitful and multiplying. Our actions, physically, spiritually. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, help me, for I do believe that the Almighty Father will prove that I am a contributor towards the things that are necessary for gathering Yashar'al from the Western Hemisphere. What say you? Do you believe that the Almighty Father is putting on your heart and spirit to move to the Commonwealth, the state of Virginia, at some point or now? Do you believe that could be the exit point for mass exodus of set-apart children of Yahuah, consisting of Hebrews and Gentiles, drawn by the Almighty Father to Yahusha Mashiach? What are you doing? Contribute your skills, your talents, your resources, your supplies. Contribute financially if you desire, if you feel that you are moved to participate or to support the final exodus. I believe that the Almighty Father will bring about the power that's necessary to confirm the words I speak. And soon and very soon, the answers that you're getting from your leaders, your teachers, your mores, will not be good enough. Will there be some out there who will discern? Of course there will be. For no prophecy of any private interpretation. I believe there are those whose spirit stirs and bear witness to what I'm saying. I believe there are those making preparations for movement. And there are so many who don't want to leave. Change, as it relates to relocation, is one of the hardest things for a person. Yashar'al, building unity. There's so much more to say. There's so much more ahead. But the clock is ticking. And opportunities we have today, we will find at some point those opportunities will not exist. Even wealth that we have, whether it be wealth of information, whether it be the expertise that we have and possess, or whether it be in finances. Soon and very soon, many of us will witness things stripped of individuals who had possession of things that was of importance at some point. The emerging currency ahead will be food and water. Next to food and water will be shelter, and of course, fresh air. Watch, O Yashar'al. There are those who will contribute towards a distraction to try to have you jump into all the natural trends as it relates to economies and building wealth and acquiring a certain thing, whether it be cryptocurrency or fiat money. Many people won't even explain to you that cryptocurrency, amazing, imagine this, Yashar'al. Most people don't know that cryptocurrency, blockchain, tokens, data streams, all of this is software. There's a race for data. Google data is the new oil. That's why everybody is tracking, monitoring, sending you. You think it's just to send ads? You see, ultimately, he who controls the data will have the strongest influence of man, on man, aside from trying to be Yahuah. You see, Yahuah knows all, sees all. But all these things that have this hype, it's just to lure us in and distract us, O Yashar'al. Development. You know what's shocking is so many people that I do see talking about cryptocurrency, they don't realize it's not insured. I tried to impart something, I have a sound discussion with a brother, and he said that I cursed him and his family. But yet he wants to lure his followers into cryptocurrencies or digital ledgers or get involved. And he's saying that'll make their transition much easier. And if he listened to this, he'll know, or if someone had this conversation, they know. I use the words because of this wicked response or rebellious response, that the fruit of his rebellion will visit him. I could have said, for your disobedience to pursue set of partners or to yield and listen to what is correct will bring about unpleasant results. But this brother and his wife are all over the place. They're all over the place, trying to get, quote unquote, their hustle on. Then you have other communities. But I won't spend time. It's so easy to be lured into talking about others and what they're doing. And forgive me, O Yashar'al. But my warning to you is this. No matter who's out there, if they're distracting you from the Spirit of the Almighty Father, they're distracting you from seeking to discern what the Spirit of Yahuah is saying, that does not contribute towards unity. And pruning is coming. Discipline is coming. In some cases, it will be sickness, even sickness unto death. In some cases, it will result in one yielding to correction and reproof and rising up strong and effective and set apartness. Enough said for right now, Yashar'al. But I want to say this to you. Whatever your belief is, we must ask, what does that look like? What are the expectations that we have for ourselves, for our brothers, and for our sisters, as it relates to set apartness? Do we really love each other enough to lean in and be as iron sharpening iron? Those who will fulfill the final exodus, those who will be among the 144,000 and great multitude, will demonstrate the answers to that. Will you be among those ranks? On that note, my prayer that you endure, that you pursue set apartness like never before, that you recognize that the hand of the Almighty Father will enlarge in the days ahead, and we will move into position, the positions that the Almighty Father have established for us. My name is Symmanayah. I come to you in the name of Yahusha, presenting what I am compelled to present before his children, before a set-apart nation. On that note, be encouraged. I pray for your health, and I pray that you grow in discernment. Shalum. Shalom, my brother, my sister, my family. Shalom.